A sudden cascade of salt and vinegar potato chips, cracker crumbs, licorice twists, and tiny shards of candy wrappers rained down not from the sky, but from a shiny foil snack bag onto the head of a woman standing motionless in the lobby of the East Ridge police station. The fragments clung to her baseball cap, dusted her thrift store sweater, and trickled down onto the cracked, stained terrazzo floor. The air, already heavy with the stench of old coffee, damp paper, and overused disinfectant, froze in time. She looked to be in her early 40s, small in stature, but solid, unmoving under the grotesque rain of junk food. She didn't scream. She didn't flinch. Only a tremor in her shoulders betrayed that she was human and not made of stone. Her sweater, a dull brown thing bought off a clearance rack, now bore greasy smudges and jagged flakes. Slowly, deliberately, she lifted her head. The brim of her cap shielded her eyes, but as she tilted up, the eyes underneath were sharp, hawk-like. "I told you to get lost," bellowed the man behind the counter, Officer Brent Maloney, a middle-aged, heavy-set white cop whose face burned red from rage and whose belt had long surrendered to his gut. In his hand, the weapon of humiliation, the now empty snack bag. "This is a police station, not a landfill for people like you. Scram before I call someone to drag you out." The other citizens sitting on cheap plastic chairs along the wall blinked in stunned disbelief. A young mother clutched her son's face to her chest to shield his eyes. An older man in paint-splattered coveralls muttered, "Ain't no way." A female officer behind the desk looked up briefly, then quickly looked back down, pretending she hadn't seen a thing. The woman standing in the fallout of shame brushed her shoulder clean of crumbs, then reached up to remove her cap. What emerged was a neatly tied, twist-out hairstyle, professional and tight, framing a determined, sharply defined face. Her eyes held the gravity of storms. The mask of a weary civilian had vanished. What remained was presence command. "Officer Brent Maloney, badge number 602, she began, her voice cutting through the stillness like cold steel. "Is it standard procedure at East Ridge PD to dump garbage on citizens asking for help? Is verbal abuse and assault a protocol now? Or did you come up with that all by yourself?" The room fell into a deeper silence, if that were possible. Maloney blinked, his anger faltering as confusion set in. Her tone was no longer soft or meek, it was measured, powerful, familiar. A week prior, Cassandra Briggs had been appointed the new director of internal oversight at the East Ridge Police Department. A decorated 42-year-old African-American law enforcement veteran with a reputation for cleaning up corruption in departments across state lines, she had relocated to this troubled city under one directive: fix what was broken. The East Ridge PD had long been at war with its community. Complaints had stacked up for years: misconduct, racism, negligence. Officers were rarely punished. Morale was low and distrust high. The citizens had stopped believing anyone could hold the department accountable. That's why Briggs had been brought in. But paper audits and performance reviews didn't show the rot. She needed to see it, smell it, taste it. So she made a plan. Briggs' new real insight came when people didn't know they were being watched. She disguised herself as an average working-class woman. Faded jeans, off-brand sneakers, no makeup. That morning, she became Diane Taylor. Her story was simple. Someone had keyed her car overnight. All she wanted was to file a report. Her target? East Ridge's most problematic precinct. Her file had flagged Officer Brent Maloney. 25 years on the force, stagnating behind a desk for the last 6. Dozens of complaints, racial slurs, misogynistic outbursts, dereliction of duty. Always dismissed, always inconclusive. He had become a fixture of the culture Briggs was there to uproot. She left her badge in her glove box, parked her car blocks away, entered the precinct quietly. The station looked like a ruin. Faded paint, cracked floors, flyers yellowed with age. A thick pane of scratched glass separated the lobby from the officers. Behind it, Maloney sat in a creaky swivel chair, absorbed in his phone, chewing loudly. Briggs waited politely. 1 minute. 2. No response. Finally, she cleared her throat. "No acknowledgement." She spoke up. "Excuse me, officer." He looked up with deliberate slowness. His lip curled when he saw her. "What?" "I need to file a vandalism report. My car was keyed. I just need help knowing how." He scoffed. "So your jalopy got scratched. Big deal. You think we're going to chase down your ghost vandal?" She kept her tone level. "It's not about chasing anyone down. I just need an official report. And maybe you could check for camera footage in the area." He slammed his hand on the desk. "Lady, you don't get to come in here wasting our time. Go file with your insurance. What do you want, a SWAT team for a paint scratch?" "I'd still like to file the report. And I'd like your name and badge number, please." That was the moment he snapped. He surged from his seat, shouting at full volume. "You want my badge number? You think you're entitled to demand anything? You people always acting like victims." He stormed from behind the glass barrier, snack bag in hand. Without a shred of hesitation, he tore across the lobby and upended the entire bag over her head. The room gasped, but Briggs didn't retreat, didn't cry. She didn't need to. She brushed her sweater clean, lifted her cap, and revealed who she truly was. The pause that followed her words felt like an eternity. "I am Cassandra Briggs, Director of Internal Oversight, East Ridge PD." Maloney's face drained of color. "I've been inspecting precincts across the city undercover. And you, Officer Maloney, you just made yourself a case study." He stumbled backward. "You're lying. This is a trick." Her voice remained calm. "Sergeant Whitaker will be here shortly. You will surrender your badge and weapon. You are suspended effective immediately pending investigation." Maloney dropped the snack bag. His mouth opened, but no words came. He dropped to his knees. "I didn't know," he whispered. "Please, I didn't know." Briggs didn't flinch. She looked to a nearby officer. "Officer Jensen, call Sergeant Whitaker. Also notify Internal Affairs Command. I want this lobby sealed. We'll need statements from everyone here." Officer Jensen nodded in a daze and picked up the phone. Maloney collapsed onto the floor in a blubbering heap. "I have a family," he sobbed. "I didn't mean to, please. One more chance." Briggs looked down at him cold, impassive. "I've heard that before. Every time misconduct surfaces, they say it was a bad day, not who they are." She turned as the sergeant entered. She gave clear instructions. Confiscate Maloney's badge, gun, and ID. Place him in administrative holding. He was not to contact anyone until IA arrived. Maloney, once full of bluster, shuffled like a broken man. But Briggs wasn't done. She had Officer Jensen collect names of witnesses, take photographs, and gather the scattered debris. The incident would not be buried. It would be dissected. Within the hour, Internal Affairs arrived. The top investigators. Professionals with no patience for excuses. They took Briggs' statement first, then Maloney's, then the others. The surveillance footage matched every word. Maloney confessed to overwhelmed to lie. He blamed stress, a bad day, embarrassment. But the record showed this wasn't his first bad day. His file was a graveyard of ignored red flags. 8 formal complaints, all dismissed, all detailed the same patterns: aggression, prejudice, dismissal of public duty. IA's conclusion was unequivocal: serious misconduct, abuse of authority, discrimination, assault. The disciplinary board convened within a week. Briggs did not vote, but she presented the case. Maloney's union lawyer begged for leniency, cited his tenure, his family, his health. But the tide had turned. The board delivered a decision more severe than most had expected: a 2-year suspension without pay, a $100,000 fine payable to the city as restitution, mandatory completion of the Rehabilitation and Responsibility Initiative, RAI, a 1-year program that included weekly workshops on ethics, equity, and accountability, 250 hours of supervised community service, mandatory therapy, quarterly evaluations. Failure to complete any part of the RAI meant permanent dismissal. Even if completed, reinstatement wasn't guaranteed. Maloney's face upon hearing the verdict said it all. A man not just punished, but exposed. The decision sent shockwaves through the East Ridge Police Department. To reformers, it was a sign of hope. To old guards, it was a threat. Some whispered that Briggs had gone too far. Others said she hadn't gone far enough. Briggs didn't care. She hadn't come to make friends. She came to change a culture. Over the following months, Briggs continued unannounced visits. Less frequent, more targeted. She pushed through new hiring practices, disciplinary frameworks, and transparency protocols. Community trust, once fractured, began to slowly heal. Complaints went down. Reporting went up. Officers became more cautious, more courteous, knowing any citizen might be another Diane Taylor. Briggs became a symbol not of vengeance, but of accountability. Maloney never returned to the force. His face faded from memory, replaced by a message. No badge is above the people it serves. No uniform shields someone from consequences. And no act of disrespect will go unanswered again. Briggs had made sure of that.